Hi, I'm Neil from Board Game Happy, and today we're doing a really quick review on how to play of the expansion for Picture Perfect, the Sherlock expansion. I don't have the box anymore, I don't keep the boxes for expansions. I will say this is my preferred way of not only playing Picture Perfect but also teaching it as well. So I will briefly take you down to the table, show you how the game plays, and then we'll come back up and I'll let you know my final thoughts. Okay, cheers. So what we have here is a mixture of the base game Picture Perfect, plus some of the stuff that comes in the expansion. Some of the things that I won't be using, we won't be using the extra character Irene Adler, I believe her name is. Won't be using her, so therefore we won't be using her preference cards. There are also alibi cards, I'll explain what they are in a minute, which are for characters that are from other expansions. I do have all of the other expansions, but in this example I won't be using them at all. What you are receiving is everyone will receive one Sherlock Holmes and one Watson. So just leave them to one side for a moment. Everyone will also receive one alibi sheet. I'll also leave that to one side. What we have here is the murderers get away. They do not want to be next to Sherlock Holmes or Watson by the end of the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that to one side for now. The game is all about these alibis. So what we're going to do at the beginning, every one of the standard characters has got an alibi here. Just so you know, the children cannot either be murdered or be the murderers themselves. So they will have in their envelopes these I didn't see anything. And you'll also notice they're already crossed off here on the alibi sheet. But everyone else has got one of these. Even the dog could have done it. Or the plant. Fantastic. So what we're going to do at the beginning is we're going to shuffle these. Place one face down. That is the murderer. This will go on top of that. Then we will turn one face up. This is the person that's been murdered. So we take this standee and we place them in the table that's now become the coffin. So that's the coffin there. So fantastic. Well, not fantastic. We would then cross off this gentleman here because he obviously didn't do it. He's been murdered. The rest would be shuffled and placed into the envelopes, and then I'll show you why you want to do that in a minute. You will also put these in the children's ones, and then there'll be one more I didn't see anything will be shuffled in with these, and that will go in with them. So as you'll see, there's no furniture on the table, so you can't use anything to cover people's faces like you would have done normally. In addition to that, the rounds are done quite a bit different, so I'll explain these in a minute as well. There are 7 rounds. So I'll get some of the envelopes set up and then I'll show you how it works. Oh, I should also say before we do that, what we need to do is we need to shuffle this massive deck now that we've got, because it's got some extra stuff in it. And, brilliant, perfect. So this is one of the location preferences. That needs to be placed with whoever the murderer is, plus their getaway. So this is their getaway plan. If you get the murderer in this range at the end of the game, you're going to get extra points. I just wanted to explain that. So like in the normal game, you're going to be trying to place all of your guests in their preferred spots to get the most points. But in addition to that, you either want to get Sherlock Holmes and Watson next to the murderer by the end of the game, or you want them away from the murderer because they're going to escape. There are 2 different ways of scoring points, which I'll explain in a bit. But everyone will get a couple of characters at the beginning, and so it's a normal standard envelope. We will take out the preferences. So wants to be on that side of the room. Wants to stand next to that lady. And next to that lady. Yeah. They also have an alibi for the plant, ironically. So what we would do there is this person's got an alibi. So this plant here, we would do an X in that spot there. That means that the plant didn't do it because this person is vouching for them. So over the course of the 7 rounds, you're going to be exchanging envelopes, getting more alibis for your different guests at the party. But you won't be able to get all of them because the way the round structure is done, it's done slightly differently now. So I will show you. At the end of the first round, players take it in turn clockwise order, beginning with the start player. The active player names 2 guests whose alibis they have not confirmed, and then you get to take those matching envelopes. Now, as your competitors are saying the guests that they haven't got confirmed, that's going to give you extra information. So you might just need to think, right, they haven't got anything for this Eton gentleman here, so we need to keep an eye on him. And then in the second round, you name one guest for an alibi you have confirmed. Now that's really important information, because if they name a guest for, say, for example, the dog, and you haven't yet got an alibi for the dog, you can cross off that. Fantastic. And so on and so forth. It also gets to the point where you can start asking questions of other players, and they have to tell you the truth. But the answer they give to you is only known to you. Everyone else has to close their eyes. Very cool mechanism, which really, really changes the game massively. Like I say, there's now 7 rounds. You will play through all 7 rounds, and at the end of that, we will reveal where we've placed all of our people, reveal who the murderer turned out to be. We will then score points as in the normal game for our people. I must say that by the end of the game, you must have placed these 2 characters. They don't have any preferences, but other people may have preferences in reference to them. So you must have placed these 2 characters. You will then score all of your points, and then you will score for Holmes and Watson if they are next to the murderer. Then you get 12 points each for both of them. Then you will turn over, find out who the murderer is, if she did it. If she is in her escape area and not next to Holmes and Watson, plus her other preferences, you can score massive points for her. So that is very briefly how you play the game. I'll take you back up top, explain why I think this is the perfect way of playing Picture Perfect.
Okay, so I hope that how to play gave you a really good feel as to how Picture Perfect plays with the Sherlock expansion. I will briefly start this overview with a negative. It's the rulebook. It's got a lot of mistakes, including the components list. Some of the descriptions as how the game will play is a bit grey area-y. It's a bit frustrating to read. I did have to refer to BGG a few times. I noticed I wasn't the only one. As I understand it, second printings will have the changes made to it. So let's get that negative out of the way, because that is the only one. Apart from that, everything in this expansion is perfect. This is now my preferred way of not only playing Picture Perfect, but also teaching it. I love the focus that this alibi sheet gives you. I love the way in which you're still trying to get people in the right positions, but you're also trying to work out who the murderer is. I love everything about this expansion. I will teach this to people, and I can get them up and running in about 5 minutes, and they love it. And I would actually say to people now, when they do play this game for the first time and they like it, I would say, yeah, get the base game, but go out and get the Sherlock expansion at the same time, because it is that good. I love the fact that the kids have automatically got alibis for it. They were outside playing. They have no idea what's happened. But it could be the dog, it could be the plant, it could be any of them. And it's really exciting as you get towards the game, as you've maybe got 2 or 3 people, oh, it could be them, and then someone asks a single question which points you in the right direction, because they've asked about someone that you know that they're looking at as well. Then you have an important decision to make. Do you want to put Sherlock Holmes and Watson next to the murderer, or who you think is the murderer, to capture them, get the 12 points each? Or do you want to try and help the murderer to escape? Now, if you manage to get all of the conditions resolved for the murderer, which is all 5 now, because you've got their location not being near Sherlock and Watson, and also their normal 3 in an envelope, it is worth a massive 25 points. So you've got some really important decisions to make there. The game works with the other expansions. You can mix and match lots of different characters. That's absolutely brilliant. For me personally, I would say the base game with this expansion is an amazing experience, with either 2, 3, 4. I've not gone 5 or 6 yet, but I can't see how it's going to be any worse. It just plays so perfectly. So I highly recommend Picture Perfect with the Sherlock expansion, and I would love it if more people played it. I think it's widely available now. I know there's a small problem with the printing. Initially, I don't think there was as many copies available as there is now. So hopefully you'll be able to pick up a copy and you will enjoy it, and then come back and let me know what you think. Anyway, as I say, I'm Neil from Board Game Happy. Really appreciate you watching my video. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Board Game Happy. I'm also on BGA, which is Neil BG happy. Anyway, many thanks for watching the video. Have a great day. Cheers.